Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Bumblebee Corner. My name is Lisa. So this video is going to be a flipping frenzy with some other creators in Sonnet's membership group. One of the creators, Sandra from Midwest Charm, sent me this box of goodies that I have to flip. So there's that little beaded wreath ornament. Here's like a music page. And we have, some glitter. Thanks, Sandra. We'll see what we use that for. And here's these two little metal star. They're like little ornaments. And then wrapped in here, we have, an egg. I love that. We have some little barrels and some little copper tins. And there is a wood spool. And I love these little metal containers. So stay tuned to see what I do. We'll see how many we get flipped. Here we go. Okay, let's start out with these little metal containers. I'm excited to do these. I'm going to just kind of go with the flow and see where I end up. I'm going to start off by painting the tops of these. I am using White Swan. And I'm sure this is going to take a couple coats. So I'm just going to paint. I'm going to paint the inside, the outside, the sides. I'm going to give them all 2 good coats. And then I'm going to see where I'm at. And then we'll come back to see what the next step is. Are you ready? All right. So I got the tops. Got that first coat done. And they're drying. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the bottom. But then I decided to paint, and I went over to my paint stash, and I saw this Prom Queen, and I haven't used it yet. It's a DIY paint. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go with it. So let's go ahead and get these bottoms painted. I'm really, really loving this color, and I think it is the perfect color for spring. So I'm going to paint the insides, the outsides, the bottom. I'm going to get it all done. Okay, so these tops needed something. They were just such a bright white. So I thought, I am going to stamp. I have it's like a little script. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby a long time ago. And then I wanted to use the stone gray ink because I didn't want it super dark. So I just bought a stone gray. So I'm going to ink up the ink pad and then I'm going to come back. So I got a little excited to get started and I forgot to hit record. But basically I just inked up the ink pad. And then you can see in that one cover, I just stamped on there. And it's not perfect, but that's okay because I don't want this to look perfect. And then I wanted to do something different with the second one. So I dug through my IOD stamps and I found this vintage texture one. And I don't use these stamps near enough, but I think I'm going to have to start using them more. So I decided to use this one up here in the corner. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp. And again, I don't care if it's perfect because I do want that vintage old look. So I'm just going to kind of go through and embrace any imperfections. And you just want to make sure you clean up your stamps when you're done. So the lid still needed something a little bit more. So I dug out my transfers. And I believe this one is called Rose Botanical. So I'm just going to kind of look through and kind of see which ones will fit really good on the lid. I'm sure I'll have to kind of cut them apart a little bit. So I just found some that I thought would look really good. And then I just kind of lay them out on the lid just to kind of see where I want to place them and if I'm going to need any more. So let me go ahead and I'm going to get these transferred on. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to kind of lay them where you want it. And of course the transfer was a little bit big, so I had to cut it down to size so it would fit. And basically, as you've seen me do before, you just take your transfer tool and you're just going to kind of rub all over, and then you just start at one corner and you just kind of start lifting until it adheres. And if it doesn't totally lift all the way, that's okay. You just lay it back down and rub over the top of it again until it's adhered to the surface. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these up. And I'll just kind of let you watch while I get them done. Okay, now there's that little slot in the front, so I wanted to make some little cards. So I just grabbed some cardstock, and then I'm going to use the Apothecary labels from IOD. They have all different size fonts in there. So I'm just going to use that, and I'm going to find a font that works, and I'm going to stamp something out. So I did end up stamping out Bloom, and of course got so excited and didn't hit record. But I just stamped it, and then I wanted the edges to look a little distressed, so I just kind of dipped them in the ink just to give them a little extra something. So now it's time. We do have to seal everything, the lids and the bottom, so I'm going to use Big Top from DIY, and I'm just going to go over the top. You got to make sure you do the insides and the outsides, because this paint will be reactivated if it gets wet, or the paint will kind of rub away. So just make sure you give it a good even coat and let it dry. So I'm going to get these lids done, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom. So the inside was dry, so I'm just going to do the outside now. I think these turned out so pretty. I am loving how they turned out. Now we're going to get the bottoms all sealed. All sealed, and as I'm looking at them, I still feel like they're just a little bit too bright. And since I did already seal it with Big Top, I'm just going to go in with the dark wax, and I'm just going to give the outsides a good coat, and then I'm going to wipe away any excess. And just it gives them a little bit of an aged look. And I think they are turning out beautifully. So go ahead and watch the rest of this process, and we'll come back for a sneak peek. Okay, and I got them all waxed, and they're all ready to go. I am just going to take these little tags I made that say Bloom, and I'm going to put one in each of them. And there they are. Okay, for project 2, I'm going to do the little wood egg that I got from Sandra from Midwest Charm. And I have a bunch of scraps of decoupage paper that I thought, you know what, they'll be perfect for this cute little egg, and it'll just be cute to sit up on a shelf or add to a little basket. So I'm just tearing up all this decoupage paper, and I'm going to use liquid patina. And I had to use my scissors to kind of loosen up the edge. So I'm just going to put some liquid patina on, and then put a strip of the decoupage paper on. And then I'm just going to continue around the whole edge. And I'm a little off center here, but let's get this job done. Just going to continue on, and I'm just randomly putting the papers here and there and all over. And then I'll go back, and then I'll just fill in all of the blank spots. So I'll let you go ahead and watch this process, and then I'll come back and show you the end result. So here I'm just getting to the finishing stages of this, and I think it turned out pretty cute. Tell me what you think. I'm going to do these little copper pots next. And I kind of like the color of the copper, so I didn't really want to paint them or anything. But I thought they were a little plain. They needed a little something extra. So I dug out my molds, which I don't use very often. And when I got my air dry clay out, it was a little crumbly. And I know I have another one somewhere, but I can't find it. So anyway, I just grabbed a little piece. I didn't think it'd be a big deal since the butterflies are so little. So first I dusted it with cornstarch so it would release easily. So I just put the little piece of clay, and I'm just kind of working it down into the mold. And there's that little micro rim, so it's kind of easy to get it, so to wipe away all the excess clay. So that's what I'm doing now. And then with that cornstarch, it released really easy, and there it is. So now I'm just going to use a little bit of Titebond. I just rubbed it on, you just rub it on the back of the butterfly, and just kind of, you start in the middle and just kind of spread it out. You don't want too much on there. So just kind of spread it out. And then I'm just going to position it on there where I want it, and I'm going to press it down, but not too hard because you don't want to lose any of them cool details. And I'm going to do both tins like this. So then I decided I am going to use Fusion's, it's buttermilk cream. It's a really pretty light yellow, and I just thought this would look pretty against the copper. So I'm just going to very, very carefully go ahead and paint all around the edges of this butterfly. Then I'm going to get that painted, and then I'm going to let it dry. guys, which one was your favorite? I'm going with the little tins. Those, I think those turned out really good. I did like the egg, and I think the little copper tins turned out good too, but those bigger tins, I think they're the winner in my book today. So tell me what you think in the comments. And I want to thank Sandra from Midwest Charm for sending me all the goodies, and I have more things to upcycle from what she sent me. So I will do those in future videos, and I'll be sure to mention when I use those items. Make sure you are watching the Flipping Frenzy playlist, which I will have in my description below. There is a bunch of us. There has to be at least 15 to 20 of us that are doing really fun creative videos. Lots of inspiration there, so make sure you're watching those. And as always, if you love this type of content, give me a subscribe and a like and a share, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.